Welcome back to the Power Six podcast. Here's your host, Isaiah Rose.
All right, everyone. Welcome back to the 8th episode of the Power Six podcast. We are officially 2 months into the college football season, and how crazy has it been this far? More exciting games ahead of us here. This week we have everybody here. We got Max, Devin, Connor, Bradley, Headley, and myself, Isaiah. We got a very special guest that's joining us tonight. We've mentioned him earlier in the season, and we'll introduce him later on. Without further ado, I'll pass things off to Max with this week's agenda.
Thank you, Isaiah. Getting right into things. It's a pretty usual slate this week, so we'll jump right into some reaction of this week's results, starting with the Husker win. Nebraska beats Rutgers 14-13 on a Friday night. It was a very entertaining game. Definitely a battle, to say the least. I don't know if you could describe it. Came down to the wire, and Nebraska's second half defense once again gets the job done. Really, the difference in the game.
Yeah, we didn't look very good in that first half at all. Do we even score? I can't even remember.
No, it was 13-0 at half.
Which is pretty crazy that we didn't score. Was that the first time this season we haven't scored in the first half? Yeah, because we even scored against.
Yeah,
we scored against Oklahoma too in the first half. So to be shut out in that first half was kind of alarming for me as a fan watching. But then seeing us come out in the second half, even though we only scored 2 touchdowns, it was enough to hold on to the victory. The defense showed up that second half, so it was good to see that aspect kind of turn around. But I don't know. It was. Like I said, I was tentative on this game last week, but I'm glad we came out with a win.
Yeah, I'm glad that Big Red won. Not really anything new. Our team is bad. They're a bad football team, and they really showed that, and still won the game. So that's awesome. That's awesome. It's really the Twitters and the Reddits where people can come together and say, yeah, I think the Huskers are going to win 8 games this year. I think they're going to win 7 games. It's just insane talk. And the Rutgers game was good to see a win because I think it's going to be the last one we see this year. It's very possible.
It is very possible. The rest of the year.
Bradley!
It's kind of
Bradley
tough.
out of nowhere!
It's kind of tough.
What?
I mean, Purdue and Illinois, they're good teams. Obviously, Illinois is number 24. There's a lot of teams here. So Purdue, Illinois, Michigan, for sure, all top 15 in run defense. And that's just going to destroy us with our O-line being so bad.
Gosh, they suck.
They are so
They
bad.
suck.
I was listening to the radio this morning, and Sam McEwen was saying, "Oh, we need a better D line." I'm like, no, like we need a good offensive line. I don't know what crack you're smoking, but like, it was just insane to hear. But all in all, we played a terrible first half, but there's always 2 halves in football, so there's a lot of football left after first half.
Yeah, I think
good. These close wins, they feel so good. Like compared to, I think it's better than like if we blew somebody out. I honestly am liking the close win more.
Grind it out, man.
Yeah, it's way more of an emotional boost, like for your players and your program, because you fight for that long and you come out with the win. Like that's an emotional victory. That's why last year is so painful because everything was a close loss. Like when we lose 49-14 to Oklahoma at the end of that game, you just don't really care enough. It doesn't really do that much for you. But when you lose week after week, close game after close game, that's way tougher on a team. So to finally come out on top of one of those, huge. I love to see that. I think without a doubt we lose this game and last week's game if Scott Frost is still the head coach. So
no doubt. I think he was actually a curse.
Yeah. And that's what I was going to kind of say is that, Scott Frost loses these last 2 games, and you can definitely tell that there is a culture change with Mickey Joseph being at the helm, and Bill Bush has continued to improve each week. So I'm very excited. I don't know if they're going to win another game the rest of the season. I would love to see them win a few more. It was just an ugly. I didn't get to watch the game, unfortunately, on Friday night. I had a buddy come in from out of town. So, but from looking at the stats, it was an ugly game for both teams. Defenses played great on both sides as well. Just looking at some stats, third down efficiency, 4 of 15 for Nebraska, 4 of 16 for Rutgers. That's not very good. So I think that speaks that our defense is starting to kind of click and they're really starting to figure it out. So hoping they can continue to put it together here and show up when they play Purdue this weekend.
Do you guys? I want to know how many games you guys think we're going to win the rest of the season. Because I think we're going to win. Honestly, I think we're going to win one.
After the Oklahoma game, I thought the most likely scenario was that we go 1-11.
I was in the same boat.
So the fact that they've rattled off 2 wins in a row, the fact that they've rattled off 2 wins in a row, and on top of that, 2 conference wins, 2 Power 5 wins, I think that's pretty impressive and speaks to the job that Mickey has done, and especially that Bill Bush has done. This is a new defense. I don't think they're not a great defense, obviously, but they are vastly improved over what Eric Shander was doing.
I think they win two more football games. I think Wisconsin is pretty bad right now, and that game is at home. I think they're going to have a shot there. And then I can't write off the Iowa game. Iowa's a very good football team, but with the history and that rivalry, it's always been kind of a battle. So I think it's going to be anybody's game. I think Iowa's going to win, but I think they're going to have to fight for it.
I'm going to disagree with you there. I think that Iowa's the best chance the Huskers have of winning. Iowa's their offense sucks, really, really
so bad.
Sucks.
I also think that we're going to win 2 games. I agree with Devin that I think we can beat Wisconsin. And then I think Iowa is probably our second best chance of having a second one this season. So I think if we came out 5 wins on this season, that would be a bonus for us just going into the next season.
Yeah, I think Iowa's definitely your guys' best chance to win as well. They had a 8-game win streak against Illinois that was snapped. 7-game win streak against Iowa State this year, snapped. 7-game win streak against Nebraska, and they also have a 7-game win streak against Minnesota. So it's not looking good for Iowa right now.
Yeah, I think this team can go out and get another win or 2.
Yeah, I think looking at the schedule, I mean, they're hard teams: Purdue, Illinois, Minnesota, Michigan, all coming up. I do think we could beat Iowa. I have a lot of faith. That's a game. If I would have to give us 1 win for the rest of the year, that would be the game we would win, is Iowa. I mean, Wisconsin's still Wisconsin. But Iowa just looks so bad. Their offense is just atrocious. They're terrible.
We are good at making bad teams look good. So hopefully that doesn't come and bite us at the end of the year against Iowa.
Just don't give up any.
The Iowa game might end
touchdowns.
5-3.
You just
Real
don't want to
quick
give up any defense
on the improvement of the Nebraska defense, and especially what they've done over the last 2 games. Obviously, they've allowed 0 points in the second half against Indiana and against Rutgers. Very impressive. But not only that, their Indiana and Rutgers both had no red zone trips in the second half. So complete domination in the second half from Nebraska's defense in both these games, which is really good to see. We'll take a win in the Big Ten. I think any team in the Big Ten will take a win in the Big Ten. You know who wishes they beat Indiana? An Illinois team that's now 5-1 and very, very well could be 6-0 if they win that week 1 game against Indiana, but they lost. So a win's a win in the Big Ten as far as I'm concerned.
Remind me of the standing just because I didn't watch much of the games this weekend. Is Nebraska still tied for first?
It is a 3-way tie between Nebraska, Purdue, and Illinois, and Nebraska and Purdue played this weekend.
Who does?
I think that.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I think
Illinois
that 13-point spread is absurd, but we will talk about that later.
We will talk about that. Last note about this Husker game too. Obviously, unless anyone has to say anything after this, the offensive line is clearly what is completely holding this team back. I think the defense has improved. Like the offense has the weapons. The offensive line absolutely sucks. For example, this week, Turner Corcoran graded out from Pro Football Focus College 0. He got a 0 grade this week. I have never seen that I've never seen a player who started an entire game get a 0 grade. That means he was completely useless and inept on the football field, and any one of us could have gone out there and at least gotten a 0.1 grade. You just got to touch a guy. I have never seen that.
I'm not kidding when I say Sam McEwen was on that good stuff, man. He said Turner Corcoran is going to go to the NFL. I was shocked.
Said that this morning.
I was shocked. He said that this morning on my way to work. I was shocked.
It's just hard for me to believe these Division I athletes are missing they're missing bodies. Like they are trying to hit another person and missing completely from the line. I've never played a snap of football in my life, but I feel like I could just at least hit them, right? I could make contact.
Heavy, I think you said it best. They're a bunch of unathletic guys. I mean, our best guy, obviously, over the last 4 or 5 years was Cam Jurgens, who was a converted tight end to center. Athletic dude, man. He could move quick, shuffle his feet to side, get low, and destroy whoever he was blocking. We don't have that right now. He's a bunch of big clumsy.
We actually saw the field this weekend for the Eagles. Cam Jurgens did.
Second round draft pick, baby. He's getting working.
Yeah, a little bit. They had
Watching
Jason
Cam
Kelsey
Jurgens-
go down with an injury for a little bit.
Dude, Cam Jurgens and Jason Kelsey, watching both of them it's crazy after watching Nebraska football. Jason Kelsey is so ridiculously athletic. I can't believe it. How like that mass doing what he does it's so cool.
All right. Is that everything for the Husker game?
Yeah.
Sounds good. We'll definitely talk some Husker football later as we preview that Nebraska Purdue game as well. But let's get into our first game besides that Husker game. Michigan beats Indiana 31-10. A close first half. I think it was, 10-10 and a half.
It was 10-10.
Yeah. So looked for a while there like Michigan wasn't playing their best game. Indiana came to play. It was at Indiana, obviously, but in the end, Michigan pulled away and still looks like a really good team and a contender for the Big Ten title.
Yep, another lock of the week for me failed on this game. Just disappointing by 1 point or whatever it was. It's tough.
Yeah,
out
you
here.
kind of got hosed out here, man.
Hosed by the Hoosiers.
If I can point out as well, Michigan wins this game by 21. Nebraska beat Indiana by 14. So I don't know. It's pretty close difference.
Hey Max, we don't have a chance against Michigan. Don't try to push it.
Hey, that's all I took away from this game. We'll move on though. We'll do let's get a little Tennessee LSU action. Tennessee looks legit. Brian Kelly and LSU struggling, obviously not living up to the hype train that Brian Kelly came into LSU with. But Tennessee has the number 1 offense in the nation, and they showed it. They went 40-13 in Baton Rouge.
Absolute
Tennessee
beat down.
Absolute lock last week.
Yeah, great pick, Isaiah. Great pick.
That was
Good
a
pick.
great pick. I think it was only like a 2-point spread, so they beat it.
2.5.
But, yeah,
He even called
by
it. He
massive.
called the money line on it. When he didn't even need to.
Well,
Wait, on this game,
No, I-
Tennessee
I
was
said
favored
the
by
spread.
2.5.
I took
Oh,
the spread
was.
on this one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he said. I'm sorry. He took the cover when he didn't have to.
No, yeah, dude. What are you talking about?
I had to.
Oh shit, yeah. I'm
You're thinking of the week before when I took the Okie State money line.
yeah. That's the
Yeah,
game I'm thinking of. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That also hit.
You got that one too. Huh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
well,
was
Good job, Isaiah.
Little sneak
Proud of you.
preview. I've got Georgia this week money line for my lock. Bet the house on it.
What's on minus 10,000?
Yeah. Actually, minus probably 10,000.
And then Vandy wins just because Brad picked him.
Fade, Brad.
We'll get into a little more Tennessee talk to later as they have a gigantic matchup this week in Knoxville. But moving on, TCU beats Kansas 38-31. This was where game day was at. Super hype game in Lawrence. But some rough news for Kansas. Jalen Daniels gets injured. Might be out for the season. Backup still played good. Who was it? Jason Bean came in and actually went 16-24, had a 90 QBR. So I don't know. That's tough, but they still look like they can be a contender at least. But although TCU has a really bad defense.
I think this just adds on to me and Headley saying they're going to lose out. Jalen Daniels is out. That was the Kansas magic right there. I am a little surprised TCU only won by 7, but it is what it is. A loss is a loss still. So still pulling for Kansas to get one more win,
It
but
still looked pretty good.
yeah. But I still think they're going to lose out.
Oklahoma's a
I'll say
fraudulent
Kansas
team.
proved you wrong. Talking about Oklahoma?
Oklahoma's a fraudulent team, man.
Okay.
Oh wait, we're on a different
But
game.
Kansas.
We're
They
Kansas
proved me wrong.
TCU.
I was looking at something else.
They proved me wrong. I've been all year been bashing on Kansas, and I was expecting them just to get beat down this week, and they kept on battling back. Even with the quarterback goes down, they don't get deflated. They keep on fighting back and end up losing to TCU, which I think TCU is really good. Kansas now with the quarterback out, who knows how well they'll do the rest of the season. I think they're going to go on a little skid here, but I do think Kansas is going to spoil someone's season later, a little bit later. Won't that be fun?
I hope they can keep that momentum going, even with Jalen Daniels being out. And I'm hoping it's not as serious as people are saying. A lot of people are speculating that he's going to be out for the season. Hoping that's not the case. Hope he can come back towards the end of the game. But they're going into their toughest stretch, and it's not going to get any easier for them. So the backup's going to have to really step up and try and lead this offense to some victories here if they want any shot at contending for a bowl game. They still need one more win to get a bowl game.
If there's one thing they've done, though, it's that they've proven they can knock anybody off.
That's true.
Yeah, KU can compete with anyone this year, I feel like. So
I don't even think they dropped any spots in the rankings. I think they stayed right at 19, right?
Yeah, they did.
yeah, which I think is deserved. I mean, TCU's a really good team, and they competed that whole game. So
Yep.
Seems about right. By the way, real quick, Vegas was very accurate in this game. Scary accurate this whole weekend, but they had TCU -7. It's exactly what happened, and they had the over/under at 70.5. The total for this game ended up being 69. So Vegas literally predicted the score almost exactly. So good for them. Moving on though to a Red River rivalry action. Man. I don't know if there's.
What do you think of Oklahoma, man?
About this one? Oklahoma.
Bro, what is going on with Max right now?
Yeah, bro's got McDonald's Wi-Fi.
Oklahoma is a bad football team. Really bad. Oh no!
Oh, thanks for joining us. Thank you for joining us.
Welcome back.
Hey,
Dude,
no,
is it better now?
Yeah.
No.
No.
Is it better
now? I will continue
hang
for
on.
Max while he's fixing that. The Red River rivalry,
See what I can do
Texas
here.
and Oklahoma. You know,
It's hard to say fast.
Red River rivalry, the 3 R's. I thought, I knew
It's
Texas was probably going to win. But wow, I was not expecting them to shut out Oklahoma.
They murdered them.
Drew almost predicted the score.
He did. We had the golf scramble this weekend, and I asked Drew to be on my team. He goes, "Nope, I got to watch the Red River rivalry game." And I texted him during the scramble. I said, "Hey, man, are you sure you don't want to be out here on the course right now? Because you're not really missing much." They were just dominant the entire game.
Like I said earlier, Oklahoma is a fraudulent team. Horrible, absolutely horrible team. And Texas kind of just did whatever they wanted with them. So pretty embarrassing for Oklahoma.
See, I wouldn't say they're horrible by
It's
any
a-
stretch
it's
of
a
the
rivalry
imagination.
game.
Losing to them.
It's a rivalry game, and that type of thing is not supposed to happen. It's supposed to be much closer.
It is, absolutely, especially the Red River. Frickin' Christ.
It's
The
tough,
River.
man.
The
It's
River.
tough.
Just call it the River.
That game. No, Oklahoma is not a horrible team by any means, but they're not the Oklahoma we thought coming into the season.
They
they're
could have
top
gotten
10.
cursed by Nebraska.
Yeah, I know they did for sure. They did for
Yeah,
sure.
I don't know about all that bogus people are saying.
They peaked
Nebraska
against
beat
The
Nebraska.
Nebraska
Curse.
curse is real.
Dude,
The
Connor,
Nebraska
have you not seen the stats?
It doesn't
You've seen
matter. They're
stats.
just
We're-
bad teams. They're
we're
just bad teams.
We're taking out teams. We're taking out coaches.
You guys are losing to the
we're-
team, and then they're losing. You're not beating them.
Yes, we're
So you're not
cursing them.
taking them
Yeah,
out.
but that's the
Every
We're
thing.
taking them
sends
out.
us
They
rots
they
away.
keep losing after us.
All right.
Yeah, 'cause
just wait
Northwestern
till
has only got
Purdue
what,
beats you
one-
We're
guys,
just
and
lucky
they keep
Richmond
winning.
plays this last game. of the
Connor,
year.
you're gonna thank us. You're gonna thank us when Nebraska beats Iowa. Kirk is gonna finally nut up and fire Brian Ferentz, and then you're gonna be happy.
Hopefully he's gone before then.
Oh, he won't be.
I
Daddy's
know.
favorite OC.
Kirk or
I
Brian?
know.
Kirk's not leaving.
What?
That's a
You
great
said hopefully
question.
He's gone. Are you
But
talking about Kirk or Brian?
Brian.
That's right. Okay.
this is a little side piece. Does Kirk retire so he doesn't have to fire Brian Ferentz, his son?
I think Gary Barta needs to just fire him.
Just chew on that a little bit, but we'll move on. Unless Max, you're finally back, sir. Hopefully.
Yeah, I
do
know.
you
I got some
anything?
things sorted out. I
Okay.
think I had a lot of devices going.
You got anything on Texas,
Hey.
Oklahoma?
I don't know if you guys heard this, but you probably didn't. First time that Texas has shut out OU since 1965. That's pretty crazy.
Wow.
We did not hear that.
Thank
My
God
take
you're
is.
back. We missed our moderator. We just started talking nonsense. So
But I was gonna say I heard I started hearing some Iowa discussion. I was like, okay. I mean, I know. But okay. But yeah, no. I think Oklahoma, especially defense, their defense is really bad. They have a lot of things to fix right now. And the quarterback situation at OU is not good. I don't know. They're not good, but we're gonna know what we really need to know when they play Kansas this week, and I think that'll give us like the final answer on OU for this season. But yeah, anyway, if we're done with that, we can move on to Purdue Maryland. This was a really close game. Purdue wins big for their sort of race to win the Big Ten West. They win 31-29. Maryland missed a late 2-point conversion that would have tied the game. Purdue looks like a really good team. Aiden O'Connell played good as usual, and they're kind of in the driver's seat in the Big Ten West right now, really, with that win over Minnesota, especially.
Yeah, Purdue's a good team. I didn't see this game, but I still think that they're probably my new favorite for the Big Ten West.
Yeah, they might be.
I didn't see
Might
this
be the-
game. I didn't think it would come out like this. You know how Maryland played against Michigan. Was it the week before, 2 weeks before, whatever? How they kept it close to Michigan. So I was really surprised. I don't think I picked Purdue once, right this year. So I don't know. I hope we just stop throwing Purdue in there after this week for picks. But yeah, I don't know. I do think they're probably one of the favorites now for the Big Ten West. They're three-way tie for the first place. Nebraska and Purdue have battle for the lead Big Ten West here coming up. So I don't know. Purdue looks pretty good, a lot better than they did to start out.
Yeah, let me tell you, we keep getting hosed by Purdue, no matter what. Either if it's upsets, if it's close games. So I'm really excited to actually pick Purdue and Nebraska this week. So hopefully, if I think what I think is going to happen at the end of the episode, it will reverse itself. So cross my fingers.
Is that everything for some Purdue Maryland action? Okay. Next, Oklahoma State. Mike Gundy, they beat Texas Tech 41-31. Classic Oklahoma State game. Their defense isn't looking all that great, but they're still playing good football and getting the wins. So they definitely look like the definite front runner in the Big 12 right now. Maybe on their way to a playoff run.
I like that,
Oklahoma
Max.
State. They just another step in the right direction to conference championship. The concerning thing is their defense is not the best. So hopefully they just keep on shooting out and winning these games.
Yeah, they're definitely going to need a win by scoring a lot of points, I think, in their games. Not that their defense, I don't know. They can hold their own sometimes, but definitely going to be an offensive affair whenever they take the field.
If I'm a team that wants to win a shootout, though, thank God I'm called the Cowboys, though. That's just really going to work in their favor.
Yeah, their defense is kind of alarming, but their offense is just so good that they keep them in games. So I don't know. I still think that they're the front runner of the Big 12, and they do have a legitimate chance to make a playoff run.
I would agree with that. Moving along, UCLA now, speaking of front runners in their conference, they look like a front runner in the Pac-12. Chip Kelly has his team rolling. They beat Utah 42-32. Looks like the Utes are now pretty much out of that playoff race. And who knows, maybe UCLA is in it. Them and the two California teams that are becoming Big Ten. And
It's just
USC looking real strong right now.
Max, how many
devices
are on your
It's
Wi-Fi,
just
man?
terrible.
Dude, it's usually not this bad right now. God
That's
damn it.
never been this bad. But
No,
How about it?
I will say for UCLA, they look like a good team.
Did you say USCLA?
No, I said UCLA.
Okay.
UCLA looks like a good team. The only downfall is their fans suck. It's always
Yeah,
empty
They
there,
got a
man.
terrible atmosphere.
They have such a good team, and their fans just don't care.
Nobody to share the love with.
I hate LA, man.
Fake
Gotcha.
sports.
Yeah, if you're living in LA though, UCLA is on like it's
They're
not
on
on
the bottom.
front page of anything. So
They are on the
I
bottom.
get
Dodgers.
it. And
Dodgers run it,
yeah, that's true.
especially big
I-
playoffs.
or-
You know,
Or your team
They
that
just have
won the
way
Super
too
Bowl.
many. They just have way too many teams. They got 2 football teams, 2 basketball teams, 2 baseball teams. Like, why can't they share the love? Omaha needs a team. Nebraska needs a team.
they have 2 baseball teams.
The Los Angeles Angels and the Los Angeles Dodgers.
That's right. I keep forgetting about the Angels.
Yeah, they have.
A
At least they have to
basketball
watch
team
the
as
Angels
well.
every year.
I forgot
Yeah.
about the Angels.
The Clippers and the Lakers, and then the Chargers and the Rams.
Yeah, that's all I
Yeah.
gotta say about UCLA.
I will say UCLA does look really good. Them and USC look like the 2 front runners for the Pac-12. I can't say who I think would win the conference because that game would be really good. But yeah, UCLA looks really good right now.
It's gonna be interesting when they join next year
Is it next year they join or 2 years?
or 2 years.
2 years probably. Everything's fluid.
That's gonna be so.
Am I
weird.
working better right now?
Yeah, you're
A
good
little
now.
better,
Every once in a while, it's kind of spotty, but you're good.
kind of spotty.
That's crazy, man.
Kinda.
I have no idea. I'd love to go reset my router right now, but we're kind of in the middle of something. So
Yeah, the Big Ten's gonna need to change the name of its conference though to like the Big Country or something.
The big
Coast to
country.
coast.
I don't know. They need it. They got teams everywhere.
Oh,
Yeah,
goodness.
nationwide.
They're moving over. They're moving over in 2 years because USC's got to win the Pac-12 this year, and then UCLA is going to win it next year, just so they can really leave the Pac-12 in shambles.
But speaking about the Big Ten, we got Ohio State beating Michigan State 49-20. Max, you got anything on that? Your lock of the week hit.
Lock of the week hit.
Absolutely. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. I should have thought about that, to be honest.
Yeah, Michigan State's pass defense is god awful, and CJ Stroud has plenty of weapons to exploit that. So, in
Michigan
fact,
State is fraud.
Has Jackson Smith and Jigba been back yet?
I think so. I don't really know. I've only watched the second half of the Notre Dame Ohio State game. So
Yeah. I mean, other than that, Ohio State just walks all over everybody. It's just boring.
I think he's been hurt most of the year with the hamstring issue. So the fact that they're still putting up a lot of points without their best receiver is incredible.
Ohio State will stay.
I mean, it's not that
Ohio
incredible
State.
because they have another 5-star that just steps in to take his place while he's
True.
gone.
It's true.
I know,
That's-
but I will never forget his performance against Utah in the what was it, the Rose Bowl this last year.
Yeah.
He had like 15 catches, over 300 yards, and I think like 4 or 5 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice to have an offense that just doesn't even need it. So good for them. Ohio State and their spoiled team. I saw a really cool Ohio State stat recently. The last time that they had back-to-back losing seasons was 1924 and 1923 and 24.
It's 100 years ago. Sick.
What a spoiled team, man. Gosh, I just wish they were bad.
One of these days, it can't last forever.
Yeah.
Oh.
Man. Okay.
One thing I was going to say is C.J. Stroud went 11 for 11 on passes that were 10 or more yards down the field for 297 yards and 5 touchdowns. So he had an impressive day.
Yeah,
anyway,
good for them.
Anyway, keeping pace here, we got USC beating Washington State. I think USC is a really pretty legit team this year. Still more to find out about them. Lincoln Riley's first year, but I think Lincoln Riley's a really good coach. He's rebuilding this program right now. And last year, USC went 4-8. Now they're undefeated in 6-0. Last year, Oklahoma was 11-2 under Riley. Now they're 3-3. So Lincoln Riley seems to be proven that he's an elite coach.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. Or I can't agree with that more, Max. I think Lincoln Riley is a very good coach. And it really shows, just how you brought up those stats there, how much of an impact he has on a program. So hopefully Nebraska can get a coach like that next year.
Yeah, between USC, UCLA, and Utah, like Pac-12 is looking kind of nice. I think all those teams are pretty solid.
I think he forgot Oregon. Oregon's looking pretty good too.
And Oregon. I forgot about Oregon, yeah.
Washington was doing good too, but they just got upset this week. So
Pac-12 is looking pretty good.
Works up, baby.
Works up. No longer firm for Herm. They're firm for wins.
So when they move to the Big Ten, is there a possibility that we get some 9:30 games, or will they not make a night game in California?
That would be so nice.
I feel like we could get a late night game. I just wonder about the fact that big noon kickoff is definitely like a Big Ten centric for the most part, but you can't have an 11 a.m. Central, 9 a.m. kickoff in LA. So I kind of wonder how that'll go.
Right. And if it comes down to Nebraska being ranked pretty high, same with Iowa. If Iowa is ranked, in the top 10 and so is UCLA or USC, it's almost like a given that the game should be in prime time. Big Ten after dark.
Big Ten after dark. That's what we love to hear. How about a little Notre Dame action? They seem to be getting themselves on a little nice little win streak. I think 3 games in a row now. They beat BYU 28-20 in Las Vegas, interestingly enough. But the Irish getting some momentum now, so that's good to see.
I have in my notes here, which team do we think is more fraudulent, Notre Dame or BYU? These teams have kind of been all over the place all year.
BYU. The Cougs.
Your Cougs, Brad?
I don't think they're really that fraudulent of teams.
Yeah, I don't think really either team is too fraudulent. I think at the beginning of the year,
I think they're both just like mid teams, Or not mid, but just a little better than average.
I think there's a lot of hype around both of these teams, at some point in the season, and they've kind of proved to everybody that they aren't that good. That's why I throw them in that fraudulent category.
I guess so.
That's fair enough. How about K-State getting another win this week? They beat Iowa State 10-9. I feel like is my Wi-Fi working better? Is it better?
A little better.
At all?
A little better.
A little better. God damn, dude. This sucks.
It seems to cut out once you start talking more. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like once you start doing like the preview of which game.
Devin's telling you to quit talking, Max.
No, that is not what I'm saying at all. Actually, yeah. Shut up.
It's been going fine. So you're good. Just keep going.
Yeah.
Okay. Iowa State kind of choked this game. They only scored 9 points. They have some serious issues on offense. Seems like both the Iowa teams kind of really struggle to score points on offense.
I'm so excited about the next game. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah, let's just get into it. Illinois. Oh God, someone else go ahead and do it.
Connor, you go ahead.
Illinois beats Iowa 6-9.
It was so bad.
It's just the same thing every week for the Hawkeyes, and it's not going to change.
It literally, like, the defensive line for Illinois was guessing the snap counts and jumping it. Like, that's how bad Iowa's offense was. Like, they're so predictable.
It was terrible.
It was horrible.
And him standing on the sideline at the end of the game, smiling after a pick, is
That's
just
I saw
it's a
that,
bad
and
look.
that was bad. That was so bad.
Terrible.
Like,
One of the worst college football games this year. That was pretty hard to watch.
I felt like there's just some bad football this week. Thursday night Broncos. Friday night, honestly, to be honest, like Nebraska's Rutgers
Big
game
Red,
was
yeah.
not great. And then Illinois and Iowa, 9-6.
Yeah,
And then I mean K-State and ISU 10-9. ISU, Iowa State 10-9. That's not good either.
Iowa's held every opponent but one to 10 points or fewer, and they are 3-3 on the season.
Oh my God.
What I will say about
Absolutely
Illinois,
bad.
what I will say about Illinois is their run defense looks pretty good. I think they are ranked like 3 for run defense or something like that. Some high now. And that's what you get for holding Wisconsin to, what was it, Max?
2
yards last week, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And then this
2
week was
yards.
like 50 something. So that's what.
Doesn't Illinois have the number 1 running back right now for yards? I think I saw that stat on ESPN.
Yeah, Chase Brown.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, Kirk Ferentz blamed a missed field goal and the defense in the post-game interview of him, saying we can't miss those field goals in the defense, and the offense wasn't too bad because my old son is the coach of it.
Daddy's favorite OC.
Daddy's favorite. I want their athletic director to step up and fire him so bad, but he won't do it.
I low-key, like in the back of my head, I low-key think Kirk is going to retire before he can fire his son. But I don't know.
I think that he's going at least at the end of this year, if not by the end of this season.
Brian?
Yeah, Brian. Because the athletic
you
director's
have
got
to fire him.
Yeah, the
You
athletic
have
director
to.
has to. Brian.
If it was anybody else.
Brian wanted to step down at the end of last season, but Kirk said no. He doubled down on him, made him the quarterback coach as well.
I'm gonna give you
So
more roles.
How do you think their family dinners go?
Kirk's
Hey,
just
man.
staring him
Hey,
down.
Dad, I scored 10 points
This-
this week.
Just
Just
absolute-
Good
like,
job, buddy.
gosh,
The defense
gosh
let you
damn
down.
it, Brian.
Defense
He's
let
just-
you down.
just staring down Brian at the dinner table. Like,
Wait,
I would fire.
you said
him.
Brian
So cool.
Ferentz wanted to step down?
Yes.
Then he got more
Should
roles.
have.
How does that go? He said, I don't want to do this anymore. And his dad was like,
I
no,
don't
buddy, you
remember
got
exactly.
it.
I don't know exactly how it went, but
That is crazy. Because he's obviously incompetent at the job. I mean,
yeah.
He's trying to get fired.
He thinks that football, he still thinks it's 1920, and that's how the offense should be played. But yeah, watch them. They're gonna go beat out Ohio State in 2 weeks, so be prepared.
I'm interested to see what Ohio State's offense will do.
I
But
think
Ohio
Ohio
State-
State's offense is so good that they'll still go out there and score a bunch of points on Iowa, especially when Iowa goes 3 and out every possession. They'll get so many chances.
Oh, yeah.
This might be a hot take, but I think they might open up as like 17.5 point favorites.
Oh, yeah.
I did say 20 earlier, but I think might be a little too high.
I think
that.
it
like
could be
maybe
closer to
more.
that number.
I think it'd be like around like 20 probably.
Hawks
No.
have bye this week, though, right?
Yeah, they have a bye.
Max, what are we doing here, man?
Trying to just put it on my different laptop.
Max, without you as moderator, we have literally no clue what to do or say.
Yeah, let's move on to Alabama.
just end it.
Alabama beats Texas A&M 24.
Did you guys watch this? This
Yeah.
must have been on the iPad. I swear.
No, it wasn't.
No, dude, we had it second screened, switching between this and playoff.
You guys hear me?
Oh, you're echoing.
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, but you gotta turn one mic off there.
This game, you guys should have put it on the iPad, and then A&M would have won. But
We did
on the
that.
2-yard line, and they did a pass play to the corner. It was horrible. It was a
Yeah, it was
horrible play call.
Terrible play call. That's what we said right after the play was over. We were all
Like that was
together.
awful. Jimbo Fisher really screwed the pooch on that one.
Okay,
'cause
Can
A&M
you guys hear me like good now?
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
better.
you're
It's actually
sounding
a
great.
lot better.
Okay, I just put it on my other laptop, so my fucking laptop's taking a fucking shit.
Oh,
Okay,
big.
I'm using all my season fucking cuss words here. Okay, I had a lot for this Iowa game. So there were 15 points in the game. There were 14 punts. That's crazy. Half of the possessions netted 0 yards or fewer. There were 20 total possessions. 10
Oh
netted
my
0 yards or fewer. Iowa, I think you said this one, Connor, has held 5 of its 6 opponents to 10 points or fewer. They're 3-3. Since Iowa's win last year over top 5 Penn State, and then they became the number 2 team in the country, they are 7-7 since being number 2 in the country last year. Illinois is ranked for the first time since 2011. That's pretty crazy.
And 4 of those wins were when Padilla was starting. So
I'm going to try to include this every week now. So this season, unbelievably, amongst Power 5 teams, Kansas ended the longest non-ranked drought. The last time Kansas had been ranked was 2009. They became ranked this season. The second longest, which turned into the longest, was Illinois. The last time they were ranked was 2011. Now they're ranked. So now, which team holds the longest? Which team holds the longest unranked drought amongst Power 5 teams now? And what year were they last ranked? Was Kansas?
Give me a
UConn?
conference.
Is it
No, it's a
Vanderbilt, UConn?
Power 5.
Well, UConn's not Power 5. It's not Vanderbilt.
Was it 2013?
No.
Could it possibly be Colorado?
Nope.
No, because Colorado
What-
was ranked
what,
pretty high a few
conference
years
is
ago.
it? Are they in?
You guys won the conference?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big Ten.
Rutgers.
Rutgers.
Rutgers, yeah.
They were last ranked in 2012. So
Wow, good stat.
impressive though for Kansas and Illinois, the two 2009 and 2011, and they both become ranked this year. So Rutgers is now on the chopping block for that stuff.
Next year.
Oh God, it's so good to be back, guys. Jeez, I have a lot to say. But that game was incredible. It was fun to watch. I'm not gonna lie. I love crappy Big Ten football. That's actually really. I mean, they're 2 of the top defenses in the country, but
Yeah.
I don't have the exact statistics on it, but there was the drive when Iowa punted twice, they punted, recovered a muff punt, -6 yards, punted. Do you guys remember this sequence that I'm talking about? They went down the field with only punts and recovered fumbles,
I'm gonna try to find it.
netting like -15 yards and scored a field goal.
Here we go.
That
Wait,
is the kind of football I love.
I found it real quick. So Iowa punted from their own 16, recovered the muff at the Illinois 35, went 3 plays for -6 yards, punted, then recovered a fumble on that punt at the Illinois 5-yard line, went 4 plays for -4 yards, and then kicked a field goal for 3 points.
Gosh, that is awesome.
So it was a
It's
15-play -10-yard drive.
that is
That
so
got them a field
cool.
goal.
Just a laughing stock of an offense.
It's terrible. It's
That's
terrible.
actually insane how that sequence went there.
Torrey Taylor literally drove
He's
the
their
field.
best player. He's their best player.
Corey Taylor drove.
It's unbelievable.
God, so cool.
Is that good for Illinois, Iowa though?
Yep. We already
Yeah,
started talking about
I think I
Illinois.
missed a lot of that trying to
Yeah.
figure this.
We got a little
situation
bit
out,
into
but-
Alabama. A&M.
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. So yeah, A&M Alabama close game, 24-20. A&M kind of has Alabama's number. It seems like Alabama kept A&M in this game. The Tide had 4 turnovers. Very un-Saban-esque team, to have 4 turnovers. I was surprised about this one. I did have the Alabama cover, but Jimbo said otherwise.
Yeah,
How about
like
that
I said, it was
Last
crazy.
play too.
It was bad play call.
Yeah.
Bad play call, like we were saying. It was just dumb. A&M could have won that. And I was saying this earlier too, Max. I wish you had it on the iPad or A&M would have won that game.
The iPad makes crazy stuff happen. It doesn't always make good stuff happen.
It's crazy. Alabama's number 1.
Yeah,
That's
but there's been
crazy.
some bad beats on it as
Number
well.
1.
True.
What was that, Brad?
Hey, Isaiah, I'm going to drive over there and kiss you. You better stop it.
Oh.
But yeah, I don't have anything else for Alabama A&M. We talked about it a little bit while you were setting
I
up.
think
Max.
I'll be talking about Alabama A&M a little bit later.
Sounds good. Yeah, we'll get into some more. Obviously, an Alabama preview again. Can't stress enough. Huge game. So we'll get into that. Some other notable results I'll point out real quick. Georgia seems like they're back on track. They win 42-10 over Auburn. Wisconsin as well, 42-7 over Northwestern. None of these are surprising, but sort of getting back on track. Arizona State upsets Washington. Miami loses again. Talk about the most fraudulent team, I think, to preseason and now. Probably Miami. I mean, that's
What's
brutal.
Miami's record now?
They're 2-3, I believe. And then South Carolina, big upset over I believe 13th ranked Kentucky team, 24-14. Real quick discussion, because I saw this in the rankings. Georgia goes to 1, then Ohio State, then Alabama. I firmly believe that Ohio State is absolutely the best team in the country and should be ranked number 1 right now.
I agree.
I completely agree with that.
I think Georgia at 1 is, dare I say it, SEC bias. It's ridiculous.
I totally agree with that, Max. I think Ohio State right now is the best team in the country. They just look so much better. They haven't really had any games where they've been in trouble all year. And then Georgia's just had those games where they have not looked good. So I think it, like you said, it's a SEC buyout here. Ohio State should be the number 1 spot. If they were in the SEC, they probably would be the number 1 team right now. But that's just how the cookie crumbles with the conferences, I guess.
You guys said Georgia's number 1 right now?
Yeah, Georgia's 1.
Okay. My only point for that would be that maybe because Ohio State hasn't played like a big ranked matchup, and I don't know that Georgia has either. And same with Alabama. Alabama played a very good Texas football team at the time, and then went in and played Texas A&M when a lot of people thought that might have been the game that they lose.
Yeah, they've
And
all
Arkansas.
played a ranked team. They've all played a ranked team that is no longer ranked.
Yeah.
Notre Dame for Ohio State, and then Georgia played Oregon.
Right.
Alabama played Texas.
Right. Yep. Well, then, because Alabama's schedule right now, in terms of teams that were ranked, they had Arkansas as well too, and then they just beat A&M, and now they'll have Tennessee coming. That's in Tuscaloosa, isn't it?
The Tennessee game this weekend. That's at Tennessee.
That's in Knoxville. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I just think in terms of strength of schedule, I think Georgia and Alabama have had maybe a little bit tougher schedules, and that might be the reason.
Yeah,
I do think Ohio State's the best football team in the nation right now. But in terms of ranking, and it could all change as soon as the college football playoff rankings come out, because you tend to see those compared to what the AP poll says, and you're like, wow, a lot of teams kind of moved when you thought they were kind of right where they needed to be.
That's true.
Ohio State is beating down these guys, but also their schedule seems so easy.
Yeah.
So easy. Like they've got Iowa, Penn State is a big test, obviously. Northwestern, Indiana, Maryland, and then Michigan. But it just doesn't seem like a super hard schedule. It is what it is.
No, it's not. It hasn't been, but I just think Georgia somewhat squeaked by maybe Kent State and Mizzou, which are not great teams, but I don't know. I mean, those are clearly the top 3, and they are. So
Ohio State should be number 1. I do agree.
Yeah, it'll shake out. Another quick note on the AP top 25 too. I know I mentioned Kansas and Illinois ending their streaks. James Madison sneaks in at number 25. This is their first year in the FBS. They were an FCS team last year. First year.
Awesome.
And they're in the top 25.
Yeah, I saw that.
Cool.
That was crazy.
But they
Yeah,
aren't
crazy.
bowl eligible, which is stupid.
It is stupid. NCAA is dumb.
That's got to be one of the dumbest rules of all time.
Wait, they're not bowl eligible because it's their first year?
Yep.
Yeah, you have to wait I can't remember. It's like 3 years or something when
Wow.
you move up to the FBS to be able to go to postseason play.
That's ridiculous.
So you're telling me Nebraska has a chance for a bowl game?
Well,
Well, yeah.
Everybody does.
let's just go down to the
We just
FCS.
take James Madison.
Anyway, let's get into our tank a week here so we keep things moving along. I'll start us off, and I really couldn't go with anything else but Oklahoma getting dominated by their biggest rival, 49-0.
I think I'm right there too. Oklahoma rivalry game. You can't lose by that much. That's a terrible, terrible loss.
That's what I had as well. It's pretty obvious.
I also had Oklahoma as my tank of the week until about an hour before the episode, and I changed it. And I changed it to Texas A&M. Texas A&M plays Alabama, who does not have Bryce Young, which was it was very obvious they didn't have Bryce Young. Alabama fumbles the ball 3 times. They throw a pick, so we have 4 turnovers. They also have timely penalties, very timely penalties, awful penalties. To extend the game, you're Texas A&M. You need 2 yards to beat Alabama. You don't get it. It's just not your season. Every player in the locker room just has to know it's not their season. Just pack it up. They were helped in every single way possible, and they still lose. That's got to hurt bad.
Yeah, just to kind of shake it up, I'm going to go with Utah as my tank of the week. Being I believe they were the 11th ranked team in the nation, and to get beat by UCLA. Yes, UCLA was at home, but I would almost put money on that there were more Utah fans there than there were UCLA fans. But UCLA is hot right now. So I definitely think Utah should have won the game, but UCLA is just rolling.
Yeah, I'm surprised you guys didn't talk about Washington and Arizona State. Arizona State upsetting Washington, and not only, I mean, they were dominant, it looked like. But also, like, that was crazy. Big Penix energy didn't work, as RG3 would say. Lock that man up.
That man needs to be in jail.
I do agree with you guys, though. Oklahoma that's definitely eligible for tank of the year. It's possible.
Yeah.
That is,
It's
yes.
gotta be on the
Close. Like, I can't imagine how the AD was feeling about Brent Venables after that loss. That's almost unacceptable to get shut out by a rival of that magnitude.
Yeah, that's tough.
I think at the end of the year when we give away some yearly awards, tank of the year could be going to this Oklahoma game. It could happen.
My tank of the year front runner right now might be Miami, because they might not go to a bowl when they were ranked preseason 11th in the country, but that Oklahoma loss is up there too. But with that, we will get into previewing this week 7. And this is the best slate of the year by far. And one of the better slates of college football that I think I've ever seen. It's unbelievable. There's 6 ranked matchups, 3 undefeated matchups. Only the second time in history there are 3 undefeated matchups of 5-0 or better teams. Just an awesome weekend, awesome college football Saturday. And let's get started with what's going to be big noon kickoff, a top 10 matchup. Penn State goes to the Big House to take on Michigan. Michigan's favored by 7, maybe 7.5 right now, according to some sports books. Super pumped to get the day started with this matchup, I can tell you that. I think Sean Clifford too is going to have some trouble with this Michigan defense. Michigan has the 5th ranked defense in the country, and I don't know that Penn State's offense and Sean Clifford's all that great. Michigan's also top 25 in both scoring offense and scoring defense. They've been a solid team, and I expect it to stay that way. I think they win this game. I don't know if they cover. I would lean towards the cover, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm kind of right there with you, Max. I think Michigan, with the way they have played so far this year, yeah, they started slow against Indiana last week, but I just think their rushing offense and what they kind of have on the offensive as well as the defensive side, it's going to be pretty hard to stop them. I'm hoping it's a great game. Penn State usually is due for kind of a big upset, so this might be it for them. But I think Michigan's going to pull it off.
Yeah, I'm so excited for this game. This is the game I am most excited for the whole week. I mean, you've got the Big Ten East has been either Michigan or Ohio State the whole year. That's all everyone talks about. And Penn State, I think, is a really good football team. So I'm excited for this. Hopefully, Penn State will get some attention after they come out and beat Michigan.
Oh wow, a little preview in the pick there. I agree, Headley. Super pumped for that game. That game's huge for the Big Ten East standings. There's probably obviously two of the top 3 teams in that division. So super looking forward to that one. But with that, we can move on to the next gigantic game of this weekend. Number 3, Alabama, favored by 7.5, travels to Knoxville to take on Tennessee. This is the 2:30 CBS game. Huge game. This is where College Game Day is going. And I think the atmosphere for this is going to be unbelievable. The cheapest ticket right now for this game, $350 for nosebleeds for this game.
Wow.
$350.
That is actually kind of insane. I'm really excited for this game. Yeah, I'm excited for this game. Alabama is due for, a loss every year, I think, in recent history, and I think this is going to be the one. Tennessee just looks like a complete football team right now. They're winning close games when they come down to the wire. Hendon Hooker is a phenomenal quarterback. Don't know the status of Bryce Young for this weekend. I would be shocked if he doesn't play. But it's still up in the air. I think their backup is still pretty solid. I just think Tennessee is going to get this one, especially with it being at home.
Yeah, this is probably my game I'm most excited for this week. I'm just really excited, honestly. I think it's a little bit better than the Penn State Michigan game, in my opinion, just because these two teams, I guess they're both undefeated too, but I don't know. I'm just really excited for this game.
I'm excited for this game as
2:30
well.
CBS slot.
It's
gonna be awesome.
I'm excited for this game as well. Actually, this list is my game of the week. Top 10 matchup here. I think it'll be a really good game. SEC games are always really good. The fans always go crazy. So I think it'd be really, really cool. And especially with College Game Day going there, there's gonna be a lot of hype around this game. So
Yeah, Alabama has had a lot of problems on the road. I mean, they haven't had a lot of problems really in general in the last decade or so, but on the road they definitely have performed not as well as at home.
Yeah, they have, and this is going to be a hostile atmosphere for sure. Like I said, the way the fans are hyped for this game, ticket prices, Neyland Stadium seats over 100,000. It's going to be a hostile atmosphere for sure. This is also the first time Alabama and Tennessee are meeting as unbeaten teams since 1989. Definitely has to do with the hype that comes around this. I just worry about Tennessee. Obviously, I mean, Bama is top 5 in the country in both total offense and defense. So been a little shaky, but they've still played really good. A little worried about Tennessee. They have the number 1 ranked offense in the country. Awesome, 548 yards a game. Their defense is 87th in the country. They're giving up just shy of 400 yards a game. So a very one-dimensional team. I worry if Bryce Young is healthy that defense could be in trouble for Tennessee. But their offense is catching in games. Hendon Hooker is definitely a Heisman candidate right now, so they'll need him.
If you're an Alabama fan going to that game, don't let your kids wear any crimson because Tennessee fans will throw rocks at them.
That's true. Getting into another huge game that could typically be a game of the week, but is getting kind of overshadowed by 2 other giant games. 8th ranked Oklahoma State travels to TCU, top 15 matchup. Horned Frogs favored by 3.5, which I don't know. Is that Mike Gundy and the Cowboys being disrespected once again? I know it's a road game.
Remember when Baylor was favored by 3.5 against Oklahoma State?
Yeah, in Waco.
I do.
I think there's some disrespect being thrown at the Cowboys here.
This game is going to be one of those classic Big 12 shootouts. I think the Big 12 for a few years had been getting better defense. Not so much this year. Oklahoma State bottom 25 in the country in defense. TCU's 93rd in the country in total defense, but they both have top 25 offenses. This is a Cowboys versus Horned Frogs shootout in Texas. I think it's going to be a high scoring game. I don't know what the over under is for this one actually, but probably pretty damn high.
Wouldn't be surprised if it's at like 90.
70. I don't know about 90. Jeez. Moving things along, though. Again, great game. Can't wait for that. NC State, Syracuse. I had to put this in there. It's a ranked matchup. Syracuse is. I was surprised with Syracuse favored by 3 in this. What do we think about that? I think that's kind of the talking point of this. Surprises me.
I was surprised to see this. I didn't really watch Syracuse at all this year. And I know the Wolfpack that played, good games, close with Clemson there. But yeah, that is surprising. You don't really hear a lot about Syracuse. I think they're undefeated right now, like 5 or 6-0.
Yep.
So, you never know. Vegas seems to know what they're doing the past couple weeks. So who knows?
The only full Syracuse game I watched this season was against Purdue, and which, by the way, Purdue's only losses this year are Syracuse and Penn State, 2 teams in the top 20. So Purdue is scary, by the way.
Yeah.
But Syracuse, they do get outshined because they are Syracuse. Nobody really talks about them. So, I mean, and this game is really a who cares game because of the slate this week.
Yeah. Unfortunate for these two teams, but it's definitely overshadowed. Moving on from that as well, we got Connor. Do you have anything to say about that one? It looked like you were going to talk.
Oh, no, I didn't.
Okay, good. Mississippi State, Kentucky, top 25 matchup again. Mississippi State's favored by 7. Kentucky coming off a bad loss to South Carolina. Meanwhile, Mississippi State coming off a good win against, I believe they beat Arkansas. So, yeah.
Yeah. I think it was Arkansas.
So, I don't know. I think Mike Leach has that team going. Air raid offense is playing good. I kind of like Mississippi State -7 in that one.
Do we know if Will Levis is playing?
Do not know the status of Will Levis. I know Will Rogers is playing for Mississippi State. It's been really good.
Yeah, this is gonna be a tough game to pick just because it's really going to be dependent on if Will Levis is going to play for Kentucky. I think if he's in, they got a good shot. If he's out, then I think we're just going to see a repeat of last week's game when they just couldn't seem to get it done.
I agree. I think
Yeah.
Kentucky kind of has, some. They kind of got to redeem themselves after last week, so I think they'll keep it close. But I still think Mississippi State's the better team in this game.
Yeah, honestly, after Kentucky losing last week, I'm not really even interested in this game.
I'm not really interested either. And looking at the AP Top 25 poll, they have Kentucky over Texas right now, which I think is just the biggest example of SEC biased ever. I mean,
It's crazy.
who would you rather play, Texas or Kentucky? Really, any team in the country is going to choose Kentucky there. They've got them above Illinois too, which, whatever. But Kentucky's a 2-loss team, still above a couple teams I don't think should be behind them. I just hate the SEC, man.
No, I agree though, Headley. I think that's a good point. Obviously Texas 4-2, their 2 losses. Well, the 1 loss to Texas Tech really hurts, but I'd probably put them up another 5 spots really. But it's the way she goes. Next, a Pac-12 matchup: USC at Utah. Another line that kind of surprised me. Vegas throwing us for some loops here. I think USC is a really good team. I think Utah is faltering a little bit. But the Utes are -4. Maybe the home field advantage. I don't know.
I don't know.
That's so surprising.
Yeah, I don't know how they came up with this spread because I think USC is, them and UCLA are the top 2 teams in the Pac-12 right now. So to see Utah favored in this game was very shocking to me because they really aren't as good as I was hoping they would be this season.
Yeah, I'm excited for this game. Actually, I think it's a really good chance for USC to prove themselves.
Yeah, I agree. USC can definitely send a statement with this and let everyone know they're in the race for the playoffs. That's for sure. But with that, a couple other notable games. I don't know if you guys want to talk about, but like Kansas, Oklahoma, I think that's a really interesting game. And I know Jalen Daniels is out, but this line still really surprised me. But it's not surprising a bunch of other people. 90% of bets in sportsbooks thus far have been on Oklahoma to cover. 90%. This spread, I think I have at 7.5. I think it's up to like 9 or 9.5 most places. Is OU's defense just going to magically be good? I don't know, because they're not good.
Yeah, I got nothing else to say about that game, guys.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Iowa State, Texas, big spread there for the Longhorns, favored by 16.5. Sounds about right. And then lastly, too, if there's anything to say, a big Big Ten West matchup, Minnesota, Illinois, before we get to the Husker game. If anything has to say with that, I think that's a really intriguing matchup too at Illinois. Should be a good atmosphere in Champaign.
Yeah, that's going to be
definitely should
good.
be a game.
It's going to be a really good game. I think it's going to be a test for both teams, really. I mean, they're both very good teams. So I'm excited to watch it at 11 a.m.
Yes, sir.
I'll be
And
watching
then-
Penn State again.
We'll have a little double TV action somewhere somehow. Lastly, though, let's get into Nebraska Purdue. The Boilermakers favored by 14 now, 2 touchdowns. The Huskers have lost 24 straight as a double-digit underdog. Last one being the 2005 Alamo Bowl versus Michigan. Not a great stat there. One thing about Purdue, though, they have the 21st ranked pass offense in the country. Aiden O'Connell could very well exploit the Nebraska secondary. That no longer has Tommy Hill, so that's a plus. But Purdue has the 102nd ranked rush offense in the country. So very one-dimensional on offense there. It seems that they ride or die by Aiden O'Connell's arm.
I completely agree. They kind of struggled in the start against that Maryland game because O'Connell kind of, make some of those passes, but as soon as he started hitting his marks, they start pulling away from teams. So as long as we can keep, the long passes to a minimum in this game, I think we can easily, stay within that 14-point spread threshold. But I don't know. I don't think Nebraska's got a chance to win this game, honestly, if I were to put money on it.
Yeah, I think this is gonna be a game where Nebraska either wins it or they lose by a lot more than 14.
Yeah, I will say I think there's going to be a lot of Husker fans in West Lafayette for this game. This was Purdue's first announced sellout of the year, and I think it's in large part due to the Husker fan base. And now the Huskers have a couple wins in a row, so I think some more people will get out there. I think this game's going to come down to if our secondary can make plays. And, man, if we can force a couple, 1, maybe 2 Aiden O'Connell interceptions, I think that could be the difference in the game. I think I worry about the pass defense. I'm glad Tommy Hill's not there anymore. I think Hartzog had good coverage in the Rutgers game. 2 perfect throws beat him. Not great coverage, but he had good coverage. He definitely played better than Tommy Hill. So I don't know. It's going to depend on the Nebraska defense and if they can get pressure and if the secondary can hold up. I think the offense will be okay.
Max, when was the last time Nebraska won 3 straight Big Ten games in a row?
3 straight Big Ten games in a row?
Yeah.
Be 2016.
Was it really?
Yeah, the last time we won.
Stretch in the year where would they start 0-6 or something?
Wait, when?
I'm thinking of 2018. Sorry.
2018, yeah. The last time we won 2 Big Ten games in a row was 2018. We won 2 in a row in 2017, I believe, as well. 3 in a row. I think it's 2016.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
Nebraska
Nebraska has to. Yeah, I think Nebraska has to win the turnover battle if they want to beat Purdue this weekend. I think they can do it, but they're going to have to play their best game of the year, and I'm excited to watch it.
Yeah, you can tell me a lot about Bill Bush's defense. That's for sure.
Yeah,
Definitely
not a lot of margin for error on this one.
No, not at all. But with that, obviously, we'll get into the score prediction of that game later. Real quick, game of the week. I got Alabama, Tennessee. That's going to be an unbelievable atmosphere for the 2:30 CBS game.
Yeah, I have that as well, Max.
Yeah, that game sounds good, except Big Ten's better. 11 o'clock, Penn State, Michigan. Let's go.
It's very close.
I think those two are pretty close to being tied for game of the week. I got Alabama, Tennessee, but I am just as excited for Michigan, Penn State. Best part about this weekend is that they're at different times. So it's just going to be a complete adrenaline rush from 11 o'clock to like 6 o'clock. And you can't beat that.
Yeah, I also got the Alabama and Tennessee game for my game of the week.
I do as well.
Perfect. Definitely tough to choose a game of the week this week. I think the entire Saturday slate is the game of the week. With that, though, let's get into our locks, our underdogs, our weekly predictions, and our special guest. Isaiah, would you like to introduce our guest this week?
Yes, I will. So I'd like to welcome the one and only Uncle Brad to this week's podcast. Thanks, Brad, for joining us.
Nice to have you, Uncle Brad.
Good to see you, Uncle Brad.
Yeah, glad to be here.
So
Awesome.
Max,
we
we
appreciate
can,
it for sure.
Go ahead and get things started when you're ready.
Yeah, absolutely. Locks this week. I am going to take Illinois plus 6.5 against Minnesota. The over/under for this game is 39. I think it's be low scoring, few possessions, and I don't see Minnesota running away with this game. I think it'll be close, and Illinois can maybe get the win. So I got Illinois plus 6.5.
My lock of the week is Okie State covering the 3.5-point spread against TCU. I'm still riding high on the Cowboys. I think it's a good pick, so I'm gonna ride with them until they kind of shut me down.
Yep, my lock of the week here is Clemson getting 3.5 points against, or not getting 3.5 point favorite against Florida State. I don't think Florida State's very good. I think the Clemson defense is pretty good. So it's my lock.
My lock of the week, I'm going to take the NC State Syracuse. The over/under is 44, and I'm going to take the under. NC State's quarterback, Devin Leary's out, 2 top 15 defenses. So, yeah, I'm going to take the under on that one.
Good pick. I like it.
For my lock, I got USC +4 covering the spread there against Utah.
Yeah, so my lock of the week actually is Nebraska covering the 14-point spread. Purdue and Nebraska, I didn't want to say much when we were talking about it, but it's always a close game. I think Purdue being 14-point favorites is not the most crazy thing in the world, but also I think Nebraska should be able to hold with them. But yeah, Nebraska plus 14.
I like that take, Brad. I thought, when the line was at 13.5 and 14, I think that's absurd for a Nebraska team who in recent years has played almost every game close, not counting the Oklahoma game a couple weeks ago. My lock of the week is, of course, going to be Texas, 16.5 point favorites over Iowa State. Game is in Austin. Quinn Ewers just came off one heck of a game. First game back. I think he continues to roll. This one's not even going to be
All right, that's good enough. We heard
That's
Devin's
fair.
lock. All right, Devin, sorry, your time's up. Thank you for the lock. Next, let's get on to our underdog of the week. Plus 6.5 greater underdog that you think can win, or at least cover. The line has shifted for the Kansas-Oklahoma game. It's up to 9 at most sportsbooks. So I think Oklahoma's defense is really bad, and I think Kansas can still score. So I'm going to take KU plus 9.
I agree, Max. I have the same underdog of the week. I think Kansas can still score, and Oklahoma's defense has proven to be really bad.
Dude, I saw that earlier this week, and I think it's a trap pick. I think you guys are getting tricked on this one. But you take your lock, or your underdog.
Just an underdog.
My underdog of the week
Underdog.
is Penn State getting 7 points against Michigan.
All right, for my underdog, all depends on quarterback Will Levis for Kentucky. I did get an update. It says from his offensive coordinator, he practiced today and he's trending in the right direction. So I'm taking Kentucky. My score predictor has it a tie, which I know it can't end in a tie. So I'm going to take Kentucky in overtime. I know the last 7 meetings have been won by the home team. Kentucky's at home. I don't know. That's the only game I could think of other than Tennessee over Alabama, but I'm taking Kentucky.
Good pick. For my underdog, I actually did have Tennessee winning that game at home. It's going to be a great atmosphere. Go Vols.
I'm right with Connor. I've got Tennessee plus 7.5, and I'm pretty confident that Tennessee can beat Alabama. That we've seen that Alabama is beatable. They haven't lost, but it's been close.
I'm going to agree with both of you. I'll make it quick before my underdog starts going off. I got Tennessee at plus 7.5. Alabama has looked very beatable so far this year, and I just think Tennessee is rolling right now. They're going to get it done.
I really like those guys. That's a great pick.
Good stuff. We'll get into our picks now, just straight up. We got a lot this week, so we'll try to rattle them off. We got a Thursday night game that you are most definitely going to want to watch over the Commanders-Bears game. Thank God we got this one. Baylor minus 3.5 at West Virginia. I'm going to take the Bears to maybe get rolling again.
Yeah, I have the Bears here as well.
I got Baylor.
Yeah, it's a close one. Score predictor: Baylor 28, West Virginia 27. Oh, I think I just got out of it.
I got Baylor as well for this game.
Give me the Bears.
I'm taking Baylor as well.
Next, Kansas at Oklahoma. Sooners favored by 9 or 9.5 most places. Now that line is quickly shifted. I'm going to hedge my bets here. KU's the underdog. I'm going to take Oklahoma straight up.
I have Kansas here.
I got Oklahoma. I think they're going to wake up coming back home. I think they cover too.
Yeah, Oklahoma's quarterback, Dylan Gabriel, is supposed to be back. I know Kansas quarterback is potentially out for the season. Don't know yet, although his backup did play pretty well, and he played all last year. Score predictor, Oklahoma 35-30, so I'm taking Oklahoma.
I have the Sooners.
I've got Oklahoma with the news that Jalen Daniels is out. I did have Kansas earlier, and then I saw that he was out for the season, so I had to change it.
I'm rocking the chalk and going with the Jayhawks.
Fair enough. Next, we got Iowa State at Texas. Longhorns big favorites. I think they keep things rolling with Quinn Ewers. I like the Longhorns.
Yeah, I think the Texas is going to keep things rolling, and after the way Quinn Ewers played last week, and I think they're pretty unstoppable right now.
Headley?
Jake the Snick.
This guy can never figure out the
Gosh,
pick order.
I was muted. That's not my fault. I got Texas.
Yep, Texas 30-17.
Yep, I got Texas, but sorry, Devin, I don't think they are going to cover.
I've got the Longhorns.
I respect that, Connor. Unfortunately, I just think Texas is going to absolutely mop the floor with the Cyclone.
Next, Arkansas at BYU. Really interesting midseason matchup here between these two. This one could kind of be a coin flip. I've gone back and forth between these. So when in doubt, I'm going to go with the home team and the Vegas favorite. Give me BYU.
I'm going Arkansas here with my piggies.
Got to go with Arkansas, this big, mighty SEC team. Kidding. Let's go BYU. The SEC's trash.
Arkansas 34-33.
Ooh.
Yep, I'm going with the Piggies as well.
I got to go Arkansas here.
I'm going the Cougars.
Good pick, Devin.
Very split there. Very split.
Yeah, a lot of back and forth.
Split there.
Expected, though, at the game spread that close, too. Next, our spread pick of the week. Vandy taking on the number 1 ranked Bulldogs, 38-point spread. I think this is going to be a slow-paced game. Georgia's shown a little weaknesses here and there. I think Vandy covers.
I agree. I think Georgia's kind of showing that they have a weakness, and Vandy's not very good, but I just don't think Georgia can cover that many points the way they've been playing lately. So I got Vandy covering.
I think Georgia covers.
Georgia does not cover 47-10, so just barely misses.
Yep, I got Vandy covering here as well.
Yeah, I don't think Georgia's going to cover the spread. It's a lot.
I think Georgia's going to cover it. They have a lot of doubters. I think they're going to prove them wrong this weekend.
Pick Devin.
Next, Minnesota, Illinois, huge matchup in the Big Ten West. I think Illinois' got a lot of momentum. Very close to being undefeated. I think Chase Brown is going to have a big game too. Give me the Fighting Illini.
I got Illinois as well. They were an underdog, a couple weeks ago, and they really showed themselves against Wisconsin. Great defense, and I think they're just going to keep rolling with Chase Brown.
I'm still bitter about our trip to Champaign and those Illinois fans. I hope Minnesota. I'm taking Minnesota to win, and I hope Illinois fans have an awful time that day.
That is a great take.
Those fans were pretty unruly.
Dude, they didn't talk at all until after the game. Then they just had these quiet cheers. It sucked.
Two of the best running backs Big Ten has, which they have a lot of good running backs. But I got it, Minnesota, 21-20.
The cover. Let's go.
I am with you, Brad. I also have Minnesota here.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Minnesota here. Bit biased, but I have to.
I was gonna go Illinois, but Headley making that comment about the Illini fan base. Yeah, I gotta go Minnesota. That was one of the worst football games I've been to. Not only because of the fans, but because I did not wear a hat and we were in the broad daylight
It was like
of the
100
entire.
degrees.
It was hot, and I got
Sold out
so
of water in like first quarter.
yeah, everything sold out. Beer, water. I got so burnt. Just not a good trip overall.
That was a pretty miserable game. I will say that.
I forgot they sold out of water. Oh gosh.
Sold out of water so fast.
Yeah, those fans were annoying after the game. I just have to add.
Yeah, that did suck.
It
Next
was nice
up-
while we were walking. They all started trashing on Spike for some reason. They all like directed it at Spike, which I did think was kind of funny.
Yeah, none of us. Just
Probably
Nolan.
the jean shorts.
It was probably.
It was definitely the jean shorts.
I think it's safe to say Illinois fans didn't really know how to handle winning.
That's true.
Next, Wisconsin and Michigan State. I think Mel Tucker gets himself into some big trouble after this result. The Badgers win.
I got Badgers win. Probably a pretty big win here too.
I got Badgers winning for the only reason I think Michigan State's pretty bad.
I was surprised Wisconsin threw so well last week, but I've got it Wisconsin 27-21.
Yep. Give me the badge.
Yeah.
The badge.
I got to go Wisconsin. Michigan State's just not very good.
You know, I had a very deep conversation with Max on the way home from Lincoln after the Indiana game, and he told me, you got to stop betting Michigan State. And so I will officially be declaring for the Badgers this weekend.
Thank God.
There you go, Devin. Hop off the
Devin, I
Mel
think
Tucker
all of
train.
our picks have
However-
matched so far, which is
however-
concerning.
We all bet the Badgers, so this might be the week that it happens.
Likely. Next, Clemson, Florida State. Big ACC matchup here. I think Clemson rolls, though. Whoever had this as their lock for -4.5, I don't mind that at all. I like Clemson.
I like
Let me
Clemson
just
here.
make-
I got Clemson here. I think they're gonna walk away with the ACC championship pretty easily, and they're just gonna keep rolling.
Yeah, Max, that was me with the lock of the week is Clemson. I'm taking Clemson.
Yeah. Clemson 31-27.
Uh-oh.
That's close.
Yep, I got Clemson as well.
Yeah, I've got Clemson as well. It's going to be close.
I am also going the Clemson Tigers.
Shout out Brian Carver.
2 in a row.
Next, Oklahoma State, TCU. I could probably keep saying big game for all these, but this is a big game. I think the disrespect for Oklahoma State's real. Mike Gundy is going to come out here and win this game for the Cowboys.
Go Pokes, baby.
You know who I got? I got the Cowboys.
I was surprised by all you picking Oklahoma State. Really thought everyone would pick TCU here, but I got Oklahoma State as well, 38-35.
All right.
Yeah,
close
this one was kind of a coin flip for me, and I just decided to go with Vegas here. So I'm the first one on the Horned Frog train. Let's go.
I'd
Thank
hate to be in
God,
a Horned
Connor.
Frog train.
Thank God. So I'm going to go Oklahoma State, but you broke the streak there of everybody picking the same one.
Yeah, I think the football IQ of Oklahoma State is unreal. The fair catch situation that they ran into last week on that onside kick, didn't even know that was a rule, but kudos to them, props to them. I think they're going to continue to roll.
Did you just pick a team based off of a fair catch?
I think their IQ and the way they've been playing is the reason why they're still playing so well.
This is exactly
Maybe.
what Vegas wants.
Hey, they would have got that onside kick recovered had they not done that. And they could
I
have
think
lost.
they do have really good fair catches if it means anything.
Yeah, 100%.
They've got the best fair catches in the league. They're going to
better
win
fair
out.
catches than TCU apparently after the shit they went through last week.
Okay, guys, we got a TCU phenomenal fair catching team. Next, NC
No.
State.
The exact opposite, actually.
Oh, bad fair
Opposite of
catching
what
team.
you said.
I was really trying to tune that out with how dumb that was. But next we got NC State at Syracuse. Orange favored by 3. I really hope we don't all pick NC State here. But I am going to start with the Wolfpack.
I have the Wolfpack as well. Every time I think of the Syracuse Orange, I think of the annoying orange. So I just don't like the team.
Yeah. I'm gonna take NC State because ever since that Omaha trip they had a couple years ago, I've been kind of adopted NC State, and also Wolfpack is awesome, cool mascot.
Yeah, I know my lock of the week was under 44, but my score prediction has it Syracuse 21, NC State 20, with NC State's quarterback being out. I don't know. They got a good team. It's going to be a lot of running. So I'm going to take Syracuse.
Yeah, I'm going with NC State as well. Wolfpack.
I'm going NC State.
I got the same reason as Headley. I'm taking NC State. I think they got screwed in the CWS, so I kind of was adopted
They
as
were
a fan.
Omaha's team.
They were Omaha's team.
This could work out really well for Uncle Brad this week if Syracuse pulls off the win.
Yeah, Brad, you could look like a genius if the Orange get that win, which they very well could.
I need as much help as I can get.
Hey, fade power 6. If,
yeah, seriously.
If that turns out.
Next, Mississippi State and Kentucky. I think Mike Leach has his team on the right track, so give me Mississippi State.
This is kind of a coin flip for me. I did have Mississippi State, but I decided to change my mind and go with Kentucky here.
I'm gonna take Mississippi State. I want Kentucky to fall out of the rankings, and I want Illinois to pass them. I'm so bitter about the top 25 this week.
Kentucky win in overtime.
I got Mississippi State.
I got Mississippi State as well.
If Will Levis plays, I think Kentucky pulls it off. I'm going to roll with Kentucky.
Next, LSU and Florida. Tigers travel to the Swamp. Tough place to play, but I think they bounce back. I like LSU.
I think Florida takes this one just because it's a home game.
I've been going back and forth on this one, and I'm going to take Florida just for the same reason. It's at the Swamp.
I got another overtime game, 27-27, but I'll go with Vegas and Florida. So I'll take Florida 30-27 in overtime.
Yep, give me the Gators.
Go Tigers. LSU.
Let's go.
I'm also going with the Tigers. I think they bounce back after last week.
Nice. Definitely some split picks here. It's good to see. Next, USC and Utah top 20 Pac-12 matchup. I think I might be getting tricked or something by Vegas on this one too, but I'm going to take USC. They've looked really good.
I have USC as well for the same reason. They look really good, and like how I said earlier, Utah just does not look as good as I hoped they would be this year.
Yeah, I was really surprised to see Utah favored in this, especially after they got caught last week by UCLA. I still think Utah wins this game.
Yep, I got Utah as well, 28-27.
Give me the Trojans.
Yeah, I'm gonna go USC here.
I'm also going USC. I think Lincoln Riley's got that program heading in the right direction.
Good stuff. A lot of close games, Brad, in the score predictor. I like to see that. Hopefully this weekend is that good. just shows how good a lot how a lot of these matchups are toss-ups, really. Next, Alabama and Tennessee, huge matchup. I'm going to take the Crimson Tide just because I kind of have to, but I'm going to be rooting against that pick. I really hope Tennessee gets this win, but I got the Tide.
I was thinking about this actually during the episode. I also had, just like the previous game before, I had Bama to start. As I got thinking, Alabama's always due for one regular season loss, and I think Tennessee is the team to do it. I'm taking the Vols here.
It's so hard to pick against Alabama. And also with this matchup, these two teams hate each other. These fan bases hate each other. A lot of Alabama fans hate Tennessee more than Auburn. Like, that's just crazy. And I'm gonna take Alabama. I think they go and take care of business.
Yeah, one stat I seen today was Tennessee leads the SEC in rushing the passer, like putting a QB pressure on, and they have one less game than everyone else in the SEC as far as against each other, or 5 games, whatever it is. So I was surprised that Tennessee's defense was that good, but my score predictor has it Alabama 31-28, and I'm with Max. I'm going to be rooting for Tennessee the whole time.
Yeah, that is exactly what I was gonna say, Brad. I'm with Max, picking Alabama because they're Alabama, but I'm gonna be rooting against it.
Yeah, Tennessee's my underdog here. I think Alabama is beatable. So I'm going Tennessee here. Going Vols.
It's so nice of the fans and the football players of Tennessee to volunteer their time this weekend to beat Alabama. I'm going with the Vols.
Bad pun.
Oh,
Incredible pun. You guys
Can't wait for that game, though, not going to lie. Next, the other gigantic game of the weekend, Penn State and Michigan, big noon kickoff. I just still don't know if I trust Sean Clifford and that Penn State offense all that much, especially against this top 5 Michigan defense. So give me the Wolverines.
Yeah, I'm picking the Wolverines for the same exact reason as Max. And also Sean Clifford's been at Penn State for seems like forever.
man, Michigan beat Ohio State one time in the last decade, and all I've heard is Michigan fans for the last year. I'm tired of it. I can't wait for him to get knocked off this Saturday at 11 a.m. It's going to be awesome. Then on Sunday, they can go watch the Lions.
I got Michigan 30-23.
Yep, I'm going with the Wolverines as well.
I am actually going to go Penn State with kind of the same.
Go pick.
Thanks, Hadley. Kind of the same thought process with Alabama. Michigan's been in somewhat close games with Maryland at half and then Indiana at half. Obviously, those teams haven't finished, but I think Penn State can finish it.
Yeah, I'm going Wolverines. Easy pick for me.
Good stuff. And now to end things off, to finish off this huge slate of picks and a great Saturday of college football that I cannot wait to watch. We'll get into Nebraska Purdue prediction. We'll give the score as well. Like I said, obviously going to be rooting for the Huskers. Hope they get the win. But if I have to give my honest score prediction, I like Purdue to win 35-28. I hope it's dead wrong.
So as the professional sports media company that we are, I have to pick Purdue here. I will be rooting for Nebraska, but I think Purdue is just the better team. They've looked better than Nebraska this year. Score prediction, I have 24-14 Purdue pulling away.
Yeah, Purdue seems like a classic Big Ten West team. Like, they're gonna punch us in the mouth, and I don't think the Huskers are gonna be able to fight back. I got Purdue winning 31-10.
Yeah, Purdue's run defense is just about as good as Rutgers. Nebraska's going to have trouble running the ball, going to have to rely on the pass. I don't know. My score predictor has it 40-21 Purdue, and I looked into it, and Oklahoma and Georgia Southern are the only other two teams that average more than 400 yards plus of total offense, just like Purdue does. So it makes sense that it picks that. So I hope I'm wrong. I mean, I'd like to see Nebraska win, but I don't know. 40-21.
Yep, I got Purdue winning 35-20, just barely covering by 1 point.
So like I said earlier, Purdue has always screwed us all season. Close games. We all pick Purdue. The other team wins. I hope to God it continues. I'm picking Purdue. I think they're a better team than Nebraska right now, but it is what it is. But Purdue's going to win from a score of 31-24.
I hope Devin picks Purdue.
Devin,
here.
please pick Purdue. Curse them.
Come on, put the curse on them.
Change it. I
Here
see
we
it.
go.
Change it.
I hate to do this to you guys, but I think 14 points is absurd. I think, with the history of Purdue and Nebraska, it's always a close game. I think Nebraska has the ability to pull this off. And this isn't a homer pick. I truly think that 14 is just too much. I think it's going to be a tight game, just like Rutgers was. It's a toss-up. It's a 50-50 kind of a coin flip for me to pick. But I gotta go with the Big Red here. I'm sorry. I think
Sir, you
Nebraska's
are
going to get it
What's the
done.
score? What's the score, Devin?
I think Nebraska is going to win 24-20.
You are a
Wow.
odd Husker
Mm.
fan.
Our defense is going to play that well, huh?
No
Bill
points
Bush,
in the second
savior.
half.
So
You are
24. So you think we're going to get a field goal? How many field goals has Nebraska made this year?
When predicting
One.
a score, it is so
One.
hard.
Wait, really? That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, we
Nebraska's
have not
made
missed-
1 for 3 this year in field goals.
Right. Yeah.
So I said
You
35-28.
just like touchdowns.
It's all
You just like
touchdowns.
All touchdowns.
It's
But
always
I
hard
hope
to
he
pick
makes
a
his
score
second
just-
one.
Right. You feel like you almost have to throw in just like a 3-point score in there just because it could happen. I got
Kevin-
24-20. Nebraska is going to get it done.
You are so odd, man. One day you're
Dude.
drinking the Kool-Aid. The next day you're absolutely murdering our team and just saying how bad we are.
I'm a
You're
realist,
so
man.
odd. This-
I am a
This
How
guy.
about this? I'll make you a deal here, Devin. Please change Nebraska, your lock from Texas to Nebraska covering and pick Purdue. Please.
No. Why would I do that? I think
Then we
Texas is going to
win.
win by 20 plus.
It's
That
like
is-
Headley says. It's like Headley says. He bets the other team every week and then we win the last 2 weeks.
You guys are way too
Just
superstitious.
buying wins, guys.
Yeah, Headley's out here buying wins. It's pay to
You
win.
guys are way too superstitious. I think Nebraska is going to surprise you guys this weekend. It's going to be a dogfight.
Oh
Uh,
Lord. I hope that pick I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah, same
Well,
here.
I hope I'm wrong
wrong.
too, but
That's
I
why
think our
picked the other
defense is
team.
going to be tired by the end of it.
Isaiah, I'm
Very
not even
tired.
sure if Nebraska is your favorite team anymore with how many teams you claim each week.
This is true.
Nebraska
true.
is my favorite team. Okay.
I don't know.
There's
You
a
seem
lot of
to
other
pick the
teams.
pigs every. You seem to pick the Hogs every week.
No, I haven't.
Next,
picked-
next to Louisville Cardinals.
You picked them this week.
All I
Hey,
can say,
Cardinals have a bye week this weekend, so
All I
can't
can say is
can't
this
talk
is-
about them.
this is the first game we're really going to find out if the difference is Bill Bush or not, because obviously Indiana and Rutgers, listen, what the defense did was very impressive. I love it. I don't think they would have done that on a Shenander, but there are also 2 bad offenses. We're playing a really good offense now. Can't wait to see what Bill Bush comes out with for the defense.
Okay, real quick. Did you guys see what Mickey Joseph said when asked what changes he made to the defense?
Yeah.
He said we changed the coordinator. I
Yep.
love it.
Yep.
This is so true.
I think
did
the
not see
last
that.
staff was just I think Scott Frost tried to get Tommy Hill to come here and was like, I will guarantee you playing time at cornerback if you transfer here. Dumb roster decisions. They did dumb roster decisions with running backs in years previous, dumb roster decisions trying to keep playing Luke McCaffrey and stuff. I'm so glad we have a head coach in here who's playing the guys that are going to get him to win. Hartzog has played better than Tommy Hill. No doubt about that. Isaac Gifford has come out and played better than whoever he was trying to share time with, Shenander, whoever he had trying to share time with. I just think they're under such better leadership right now in every way, shape, and form. So
I don't know. Did you guys happen to see Damon Bennings now the color analyst
saw
for
that.
Football Radio?
I did
I
see that.
love
Yeah.
that.
Talked about that.
I
think
love
that's
that.
awesome.
I love
I
that too.
didn't really like Matt Davidson up there. I wasn't a huge fan, so I like Damon Benning there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm happy about that. It was sad to see him go from 16-20.
Yeah.
He was great on 16-20.
hmm
But I think that will be really good for the. I think him and Greg Sharp will do a really good job on games. So
Yeah, you kind of thought it was Frosty and Matt Davidson that was going to save Nebraska, but I don't know. Maybe it's Mickey and Damon.
yeah,
It's true.
I'm here for it.
Get Frost out of here, man.
Yep.
Anyway, it's been a long episode. I think we can end it off now. Thank you so much, Brad, for joining us. We really appreciate it. We love looking at your score predictor too whenever we get the chance. It's really neat. So
Yeah, I needed some help betting. I always lose betting, so then I created this to help, and it hasn't helped at all. I still lose all the time.
We're finding out-
thought that counts.
hey, we're finding out that it is really tough to beat Vegas.
Yes,
Damn
very
Can it
tough.
beat Power 6? That's the true question.
We'll find out.
Well,
Well,
yeah.
thanks, guys.
Yeah. Thanks, Brad.
Thank you.
You betcha.
We've
Thanks,
been
Brad.
waiting for this. I know I've been waiting for this for a while, and we've been talking about it. So glad you finally got on here. It's good to see your face again.
Yeah.
But
Yep, same here. So thanks,
right.
guys.
yeah,
Appreciate it.
thanks, Brad.
Thanks, Brad.
Thank you. Have a good
Yeah.
one.
Thanks, Brad.
All right, that's everything we have for this week's episode of the Power 6 podcast. Thank you all for tuning into this week's episode. If you don't already, make sure you do follow us on our social medias. I'll have the information for that in the description of the podcast on your favorite podcast network or outlet and on YouTube. That's everything. As always, have a good and safe weekend and go Big Red.
Go Hawks.
How can you guys say go